I want to tell you something about decisions. Most people think that life changes because of big moments, big events, big opportunities that arrive from outside, a lucky break, a special person, a perfect situation. But that is not how life actually changes. Life changes because of one decision. One small, quiet, personal decision made on an ordinary day, in an ordinary moment, with no audience and no applause. A decision to start, to stop, to try, to continue, to say yes when everything inside says wait, to say no when everything around you says keep going. One decision, and everything that follows comes from that one moment. The job, the skill, the confidence, the life that looks different 1 year later, it all traces back to one decision made on one ordinary day. Maybe you've had a moment like that. Maybe you are in one right now. Maybe today, this very day, is the day of your one decision. Today's story is about a young man named Danny. Danny's life changed completely, not because something big happened to him, because one evening he made one small decision. This is his story. Meet Danny. Danny was 25 years old. He worked at his uncle's small furniture store. He helped customers, organized stock, handled deliveries. He had been there for 2 years. The work was honest and the pay was fair. But Danny felt invisible, not because anyone was unkind. His uncle was a good man. The customers were normal people. The days were not painful. They were just the same. Every day the same shop, the same furniture, the same conversations about delivery dates and fabric colors and prices. Danny had a dream that felt very far from fabric colors. He wanted to work online. He had watched videos about people who worked remotely, writing content, managing social media, helping international companies with communication, people who worked from their laptops, from cafes, from anywhere. He wanted that freedom, that variety, that feeling of the world being larger than one furniture shop on one street in one city. But there was one problem. All of it required English. Strong, professional, confident English. And Danny's English was, he thought, not strong enough, not bad. He could read English articles. He could understand YouTube videos without subtitles. He could write simple messages, but professional English, writing for international companies, communicating with clients from other countries, that felt like another level, a level he was not at yet. Maybe next year, he told himself, when my English is stronger. He had been saying maybe next year for 2 years. The evening, one Tuesday evening, Danny came home from the shop, tired, and sat at his kitchen table. He opened his laptop, as he did every evening, and began scrolling. Videos, social media, news, the usual comfortable nothing. Then something caught his eye. A short post from someone he followed online. A young man, maybe 27 or 28, who wrote about his work as a freelance content writer. He worked for clients in 3 different countries. He worked from home. He had started 2 years ago with basic English and no experience. Danny read the post twice. Basic English. No experience. 2 years ago. He looked at the date of the post. The man had posted it today, 2 years after starting with nothing. Danny sat back in his chair. He thought about his own 2 years, the same shop, the same conversations, the same maybe next year. He thought, what if 2 years ago I had made one decision? What would today look like? He sat with that question for a long time. Then he opened a new tab on his laptop. He searched how to start freelance writing in English for beginners. He read for 1 hour. Then he closed the laptop and went to sleep. But before he slept, he wrote one sentence in the small notebook on his bedside table. He wrote, "Tomorrow I begin." Lesson 1. The decision is the beginning. The next morning, Wednesday, Danny woke up and looked at the notebook. Tomorrow I begin. Tomorrow was today. He made tea. He sat at the kitchen table. He opened his laptop. He did not feel ready. He did not feel confident. He did not feel like someone who was about to change his life. He felt like a tired person with a cup of tea and a laptop. But he had written, "Tomorrow I begin," and tomorrow was today. So he began. He found a free course on content writing. Basic level, 12 short lessons. He pressed play on lesson 1. 20 minutes later, lesson 1 was done. He closed the laptop. He got ready for work. He went to the furniture shop. Nothing dramatic had happened. The world looked exactly the same, but something had changed. He had made the decision, and he had acted on it on the same day, without waiting for perfect conditions or perfect confidence or perfect English. He had just begun. And beginning, he would discover, was the whole secret. Not talent, not connections, not perfect English, just beginning. One lesson, one morning, one cup of tea. Daily English sentences, repeat after me, tomorrow I begin, and tomorrow is today. I do not wait for perfect conditions. I begin now. Beginning is the whole secret. Everything else comes after. I open the lesson and I press play. That is enough for today. I do not feel ready. I begin anyway. One decision acted on immediately changes everything. I made the decision. Now I act on it. Today. Lesson 2. Small progress every day. Danny studied the content writing course every morning before work, 20 minutes, sometimes 30, never more, because he had to get to the shop on time, but every morning, without skipping. After 2 weeks, he finished the course, 12 lessons, done. He sat back and thought, now what? He needed to practice, real practice, not exercises in a course, but actual writing, real sentences, real articles, real English. He made a decision. Every evening, he would write one short paragraph in English about anything, a topic he had read about that day, something that interested him, something simple. Just one paragraph. Every evening, he wrote the first one on a Tuesday evening. It was about furniture, the only industry he knew well. He wrote about the history of wooden chairs, simple sentences, basic vocabulary, one small paragraph. He read it back. It was not perfect. Some sentences were awkward. One word was wrong, but it existed. He had made something that had not existed before in English, with his own ideas and his own words. He wrote another one the next evening, and the next. After 1 month, 30 paragraphs. He read through them all one evening from the beginning. He could see the improvement clearly. The first ones were stiff and uncertain. The recent ones were more natural, more confident, more his. One paragraph a day had done that. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I practice writing one paragraph in English every evening. Small daily practice builds real skill over time. I write about what I know, and what I know is enough to start. I read my old writing, and I can see how far I have come. 30 days of writing changes everything. I make something new every day. That is how I grow. My writing is more confident now than it was last month. Lesson 3. The first real step. 6 weeks after his one decision, Danny did something that frightened him. He created a simple profile on a freelance platform, just a profile, no jobs applied for yet, just his name, a short description of his skills, and 2 writing samples he had taken from his 30 evening paragraphs and polished carefully. He looked at the profile on his screen. It said, Content Writer, English, available for small projects. He felt like an imposter, like someone pretending to be something they were not. But he remembered the man from the Post, basic English, no experience. 2 years ago, everyone starts somewhere. He left the profile live and closed the laptop. 3 days passed. Nothing happened. 4 days. Nothing. On the 5th day, a small notification. Someone had viewed his profile. Not a job offer. Not a message. Just someone had looked. Danny sat with that for a moment. Someone out there in the world had seen his name and his words and had spent a few seconds looking at them. That was real. He was real. On the 8th day, a message arrived, a small business owner from another country. He needed one short product description written in English. Simple work, small pay, but real. Danny read the message 4 times. Then he replied, professionally, clearly, in English. Yes, he wrote. I can help you with that. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I create my profile even before I feel completely ready. Everyone starts somewhere. I start here and I start now. I feel like an imposter. I continue anyway. Someone sees my work and that makes it real. I reply professionally and clearly. I say yes. Small first jobs lead to bigger opportunities later. 6 weeks of daily practice brought me to this moment. Lesson 4, 1 year later. 1 year after that Tuesday evening at the kitchen table, Danny sat at his laptop in a small cafe near his home. He was not at the furniture shop. He had left 3 months ago, kindly, gratefully, with his uncle's blessing. His uncle had shaken his hand and said, "I always knew you would go somewhere." Danny worked freelance now, 4 regular clients, writing product descriptions, social media content, short articles, all in English, all online, all from wherever he chose to sit with his laptop. It was not a large income yet. It was modest, growing, but it was his, built from one decision on one Tuesday evening. He thought about that evening sometimes, the scrolling, the post about the freelance writer, the question, what if 2 years ago I had made one decision? And then the answer, the quiet, personal, no audience answer, tomorrow I begin. He opened his notebook, the same small notebook from his bedside table. He turned to the page with those 3 words, tomorrow I begin. He smiled. Then he opened a new page and wrote 3 new words. He wrote, I am here. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. 1 year of daily effort builds a completely different life. I left the comfortable place and I found the right place. My income is modest and growing. I built it myself. I look back at the decision and I feel grateful. 3 words changed my life. Tomorrow I begin. I am here now because I made one decision. I write 3 new words. I am here. Final words. Your one decision. Danny's story is simple. He was not special. He was not talented in an unusual way. He did not have connections or qualifications or a big plan. He had one Tuesday evening, one post that made him ask a question, one sentence written in a notebook before sleep. Tomorrow I begin. And then he began. 20 minutes of a free course, one paragraph every evening, a small profile on a platform, a message replied to with yes. One small step after another, all coming from one decision made on one ordinary evening. Maybe you are listening now and you have your own Tuesday evening feeling, that quiet sense that something could be different, that somewhere a door exists that you have not opened yet, that one decision made today, acted on tomorrow morning, could be the thing that changes the direction of your life. I want to say this to you simply. Make the decision, not tomorrow, not when your English is better, not when conditions are perfect. Tonight. Write it in a notebook. One sentence, what you will begin tomorrow morning, what the first small step will be. And tomorrow, do that one small step. Because 1 year from now, you could be sitting somewhere different, working on something different, feeling something different, not because life gave you something special. Because one evening, you made one decision, and that decision changed everything. See you in the next one. Stay calm, stay consistent, and make your decision today.